If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know there are certain types of products that come back again and again. Headphones and earbuds are some of those products, and it's been a long time since I've reviewed a pair of wired headphones. And that's because my Audio-Technica ATH-50s that I've used for a couple years now have just been true workhorses. Everybody knows these headphones. You see them everywhere, producers, DJs. You can grab them for like 150 bucks, and they're a really great wired option for most people. Now, audiophiles be audiophiles, and they want to upgrade sometimes and get the next best thing. What happens if someone wants to step up from, say, a $150 pair of headphones to something a little more audiophile oriented? Well, in that case, I'm going to turn to these guys right here. These are the Takstar HF580s, and if you're watching this video, you probably know how much buzz these have created on the internet. They're not an insanely new product, but this is my first time testing them out. And today I'm going to tell you about my experience moving from the Audio-Technica MTH-50s to these guys. These are a planar magnetic headphone. They operate on a completely different principle, and in my mind, they are a more superior headphone in every way. In this video, I'm going to unbox these, show you what comes in the package, tell you how they work, my personal listening experiences, and then let you know whether or not I think you should pick up a set for yourself. Now, if you're new here, my name is Jordan, you're on the Phase Reviews YouTube channel, and I release budget tech product reviews as often as I can. I try to do weekly, sometimes it goes a little bit longer. I'm in medical school, so I do the best that I can. But thank you for being here. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you like this content so I can keep bringing you all awesome reviews. Now, enough of that. Let's take a look at these Takstar HF580s. Now, first things first on this channel, I like to talk about packaging, and I get some flack in the comments for it sometimes, saying nobody cares, but these headphones have a box that's worth talking about. It comes in this huge, thick, heavy cardboard box with a beautiful full color image on the front showing the headphones, a couple of lines of text on the back talking about what a planar magnetic headphone is. It has another picture of it, and this just feels like something that they're not going to get damaged in during shipping. It feels like a box that's worthy of a headphone that costs $200+. Now, as I open this up, I'm going to talk to you about what these headphones are. Like I mentioned, they are planar magnetic headphones, and honestly, I didn't know what that was when I started looking into these headphones. In essence, standard headphones, the Audio-Technica MTH-50s that I had before, are dynamic drivers, and they operate on the same principle as a lot of speakers and earbuds and headphones that most people are used to, in the sense that there is a cone with a dome in the middle. That cone is connected to a magnet with a coil of wire. When electrical current is applied, the dome moves in and out, and that provides your sound waves. Now, the planar magnetics, instead of a cone connected to a magnet, has a thin sheet of film suspended between two sheets of thin magnets, and that film weighs a fraction of what the dome and a traditional dynamic driver weighs. It can move a lot more quickly, a lot more precise, and there's a ton of other science to it that I probably cannot explain well on this video, so if you're interested, take a look at planar magnetics on Google. You can find more info on how they work there. But suffice it to say, most people agree that a planar magnetic is a step up in quality at the same price point as a dynamic driver. Obviously, there's exceptions. Don't come at me for the $3,000 pair of dynamic headphones. There are amazing products in every category, but you know, a $200 pair of dynamic drivers, $200 pair of planar magnetics, you can get a lot more for your dollar quality-wise with the planar magnetics, from what I understand and from my experience with these Takstars. So let me open this box up. So you've got a sleeve, and you've got this huge, thick cardboard box. When you open that up, there's a nice piece of foam here, and when you remove that, you've got your product manual. You've got the headphones themselves, some ear pads, a cable. I'll show you all that in just a moment. Now, let's talk about this headphone guide. Most of the text in this is in another language. There are sections for English and sections for Chinese or Japanese, whatever it is. But when you pull up the English section, there's a little peek at the spec sheet. And I just want to read some of these to you. They are relevant if you're looking to buy a pair of headphones. First of all, look at that frequency response graph. It is basically flat from 15 hertz up to 1500 hertz. I mean, just completely flat as a board, which is awesome to see. There's a little bit of a dip between 2 and 5K, and then a little peak around 10. So it's not completely flat in the upper frequencies, but rock solid in the low end. This has an impedance of 32 ohms plus or minus 20%. It says a frequency response of 15 hertz to 25 kilohertz, which is different from your standard 20 hertz on the low end, which is what we usually see. These are known for having a robust low end. Sensitivity 90 plus or minus 3 dB. Their rated power 10 milliwatts, peak power 20 milliwatts, and they come in at 550 grams, which I don't know the conversion off the top of my head other than to say these headphones are heavy, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Now, in the box with the manual, you're going to get another set of ear cups. These are actually the ones that were originally on the headphones. I swapped them out. This is a pair of, let me open it up. These are faux black leather. Okay, they're kind of perforated around the edges. Let me show you what they look like there. Okay, so that's kind of the faux black leather, and then the cups that are actually on the headphones now are these cloth gray ones, and these look, feel, and sound better in my mind than the leather ones, so I swapped these out for that. It's as easily as just kind of peeling them off and clicking the other ones on. Now these are the headphones themselves. Like I said, these are heavy. They are made of all metal except for the cup itself, which is a plastic, but the band, this kind of, I don't know, holder right here, metal inside of the headband is metal, and they are the heaviest headphones that I've ever held in my life, even compared to my V-Modas that are also metal that I use for DJing. These suckers are hefty, and that's a common complaint with them. The band up here is a little bit thin, but you know, if I listen for a couple hours, I'm not really experiencing any fatigue. If you were to wear these all day, it may wear down on your head, but keep that in mind. The design is you've got this nice kind of open grill right here. These are open back headphones, meaning this is not sealed. So when you're listening to these, other people are gonna be able to hear what you're listening to. So probably not best to use these in public. Good for at-home listening in a nice quiet space. They do not block out any of the sound coming in from the outside. You're gonna hear everything in the room. And so you want a nice controlled environment when you're listening to these headphones. Now, as I pull these out of the box, you're gonna see the cable. It's a nice thick rubbery cable, but it is permanently attached to the headphones. And that's one of the modifications a lot of people do to these, replace it with some detachable, replaceable version. I unfortunately do not have the know-how to do that, or I haven't tried it yet. But obviously, I would like to see replaceable cables that I could remove during, you know, travel or whatever. But at the end of the day, not that big a deal. The cable itself is extremely long. It's like 10 feet. So I have it coiled up with this little included Velcro. And the end where the jack is metal and has a little kind of sheath right there when it goes in to protect it from getting bent or getting a short in it when you move it. So that's nice. The cable, at least, that it comes with is quality, but I do wish that it was detachable. The only other thing in the box, which is, you know, a nice hefty foam interior, is a converter to 1/4 inch from the 3.5 millimeter standard headphone jack. This is going to be used if you've got a dedicated headphone amplifier, if you're plugging it into a DJ mixer, anything like that. Not that you'd use these for DJing, but they do include the adapter in the box. So that's everything that comes in it. The box, the headphones themselves, everything is sturdy and hefty and looks great. Now, talking about looks, I love that they're metal. Honestly, I'll put up with the extra weight for the increased durability. The piano black does get fingerprints like it's going out of style. So many fingerprints, but you know, you're not gonna be fondling these too much. I would just wipe it off, and if you're gonna put it on like a headphone stand, and then try not to smear your fingers all over it. So let's talk about putting these to use, because it's a headphone review and that's what matters. Now, there are so many audiophile words that people use. These are budget headphones, and so I'm going to try and give my review in terms of things that people can relate to. If you don't read a lot of audiophile blogs, because I sure don't, and when I do, I don't understand terms like and when I do, I don't understand a lot of the terms that they're using. And so let's start kind of with the low end, bass, okay? Planar magnetics, from what I've read, they're kind of known for the bass. The design allows them to reach lower, 20 hertz and below. And I found that to be the case with these. I ran a sine frequency sweep, and I was easily hearing, flat, even bass. It was just as loud at like 28 hertz as it was at 80 hertz. So they definitely go low. If you listen to hip hop, if you listen to music with a lot of undertones, a lot of deep bass notes, these are going to provide that. Now, I don't think the bass is overbearing. I have other pairs of headphones with a lot more bass, but this definitely has a lot deeper bass and a lot more even flat bass. It's not overemphasized, and it's very smooth, okay? And more lifelike. I guess that's an audiophile term to use, but when I listen to recordings of bass drums, like not like a synthesized bass or a hip hop bass, but like a big deep rock bass drum, you can hear the decay, you can hear the head like vibrating. It's pretty wild to listen to like an acoustic drum set on these and hear things about the instrument that I haven't heard before. Normally you just hear the initial attack and not much else, at least on the headphones I've had in the past. These, you can hear the sound lasting, which is pretty wild, okay? Now, moving up from bass, mid-range, and this is where a lot of people either love or hate these headphones. They have like immaculate mid-range. It is very strong, it's very forward, vocals are just like right out in front of the mix, very, very prominent. I know other reviewers, from what I've read online, tone theirs back with EQ. I don't have that capability on my MP3 player. It's more of a low-end kind of MP3 player, but I could see the merit in that. Honestly though, after listening to them for, I don't know, half an hour, like you kind of get used to it. And so, you know, I'm usually someone that is more about the low end than the mid, but honestly, it's pretty amazing to hear the clarity in it. Things like guitars, pianos, they live in the mid-range, and the clarity of it is awesome. One of the things that I've noticed, and you know, other people have too, and you can kind of do mods for this, is that there's like a natural reverb to these. When I'm listening to tracks that have reverb, it like accentuates it even more. There's an echo, there's like a not a delay, but there's just kind of this big room feeling when you listen to tracks on these. It's honestly pretty amazing. Now, when I listen to very dry recordings, they remain dry, but if there's any like inkling of reverb there, I feel like these accentuate it. So whether or not you like that, that's up to you. Highs, it's there, they're not like piercing, I don't think. I think the mid-range is much more like in your face than the highs, but you're also not missing any of the details in the highs. Looking at the frequency response chart, it's a little bit, it's not completely flat, but it didn't sound like egregious to my ears. Now, one thing, if you're gonna step up to a pair of headphones like this from say the Audio Technica ATH-50s that I've talked about, be aware that these are very resolving, they're very true to the actual sound, and if you are listening to low quality music, you will 100% hear it. Even when I'm listening to FLAC files of different artists, when I listen to like a very poorly recorded and mastered album as compared to like, you know, your audiophile standards like Steely Dan, or I like Dave Matthews Band a lot for listening, those poorly recorded tracks do not sound good. They probably sound worse than if you were to listen on low quality headphones, just because this really reveals any distortion, it reveals any kind of flaws in the recording. So if you're gonna listen to music on something like this, just be prepared to listen to high quality recordings. It will definitely make a difference for you. Now, as far as what I listen to, I mentioned obviously Steely Dan. It's very stereotypical, but it's amazing. I really love Dave Matthews Band. The Crash album is so good. There's a track on there, Say Goodbye, which has amazing acoustic drums at the beginning that kind of pan around left and right. The soundstage on these is phenomenal. You really feel kind of like enveloped. It's not, I don't think it's surround sound, but you definitely have this huge wide stereo image that extends beyond the headphones themselves. Okay, so whew, that was a lot. In summary, I am extremely pleased with these. I think it's a worthy upgrade for, you know, $100 more than the Audio Technicas that everyone knows. If you're serious about listening to high quality music, this is a great choice. Now, be aware of the caveats. Open back means people are going to hear what you're listening to, and you're going to hear the outside world, so you need a controlled environment for these. They have very strong mid-range, and they're not going to blow your head out with bass. So if those are characteristics you like or don't like, make sure you take that into account. They are heavy. They probably shouldn't be used for like really, really long extended listening periods unless you somehow add some padding to this headband. But for me, someone that sits down and listens to an album maybe once a day, an hour of music, they have been phenomenal. I think it's a worthy upgrade, and if you're gonna kind of venture into the world of these planar magnetic headphones, from what I can tell, this is a great starting point. There's enough detail in my mind to justify the price difference from dynamic $150 headphones. So if you want to pick up a pair of these for yourself, I will include a link down in the description. You can go buy through there, support the channel. I would of course love you for it. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time.